Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another video. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you'll be updated on all my future content. So this video is going to be a brief review of 3-digit by 1-digit multiplication. 375 times 9 is our model problem. I'm Mr. Camilleri, and this is the Mr. Camilleri Show YouTube channel. So I want you to think of these types of problems as 3 separate single-digit problems where you have to regroup and add what is carried over if our product is 10 or more. So we're going to start in the ones place. 5 times 9 equals 45. So the 5 and 45 goes in the ones place. The 4 and 45 gets carried over to the tens place. Next, we multiply 7 times 9, and that 4 has to get added on to our answer. So 7 times 9 equals 63, plus 4 equals 67. So now the 7 and 67 goes in the tens place. The 6 and 67 gets carried over to the hundreds place. 3 times 9 equals 27. We have to add the 6 that we carried over. 27 plus 6 equals 33. And we have our final answer. 375 times 9 equals 3,375. All right, on to the next example. Looking for my eraser. My eraser disappeared on me. But I found it. I found it. We are racing, and we are on to example number 2. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Please hit the like button because it really helps the algorithm. All right. Next example, 423 times 6. 423 times 6. Starting in the ones place, 3 times 6 equals 18. So the 8 and 18 goes in the ones. Percents, please. All right. Next problem. Next problem I do will be percents. 423 times 6. So 3 times 6 equals 18. The 8 and 18 goes in the ones place. The 1 gets carried over to the tens place. 2 times 6 equals 12. Plus 1 is 13. 3 carry the 1. 4 times 6 equals 24. Plus 1 equals 25. And we have our final answer. 423 times 6 equals 2,538. Now, even though this live stream was going to be specifically 3-digit by 1-digit multiplication problems, I got a request for percents in the chat. So give me an example of a problem with percents. Somebody in the chat, write an example of a problem with percents that you want me to solve. I'll solve that next. By the 5-minute mark, if you want me to do a percents problem, put one in the chat. Put an example of one in the chat. If nobody puts an example of one in the chat, then I'll come up with my own example. But I want to give the people in the chat that made the request the opportunity if they want to put one in the chat. I have my own percents problem that I'll put in though if you can't come up with one. All right. I'll come up with a percentage problem. And we can actually keep it. I can actually do a percentage problem and still keep it to the 1 digit. So let's say I wanted to find 5% of 385. 5% of 385. What I would do is I would multiply 385 times 0.05. Now, this is confusing to some, but what I would recommend doing is solving this as if it were a whole number, and then at the very end, moving the decimal point over 2 places. With whole numbers, there is a decimal point there, but it's kind of invisible. We kind of ignore it. But with whole numbers, the decimal point is always behind all the numbers. So with percentages, if we're getting a percent of something, the decimal is in front of some of the numbers. So it's as simple as multiplying the whole number and then moving the decimal point. So it's lined up. So 5 times 5 equals 25. 5 carry the 2. 8 times 5 equals 40. Plus 2 equals 42. 2 carry the 4. 3 times 5 equals 15. Plus 4 equals 19. Now, if it were a whole number, this is what our answer would be. Our answer would stay as is. Our answer would be 1,925 if we were multiplying whole numbers. But because we're trying to find a percentage, and because there's decimals in the mix, we have to move the decimal point over 2 places. So, if we move it over 1 place, that 1,925 becomes 192.5. If we move it over a second place, the answer becomes 19.25, or 19 and 25 hundredths. So, to write it out so it's clear, 5% of 385 equals 19.25. So that's my percentage problem for the live stream. All right, that is my video for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're welcome. And any more requests, feel free. Whenever I'm live, any requests you have, just put them in the chat, and I'll improvise best I can. But thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. And if there's an area of math or reading that you're having difficulty with, put that in the comments, and I will do a future video on that skill. Until next time, this is Mr. Camilleri signing off.